Good morning, viewers. Yes, and we are here again with you with our FB Live for the week on this Saturday. So, hope you all have had your breakfast and your hot cup of chai or coffee, and or possibly you have kept it next to the on the table next to your laptop so that you can sip it and listen to our FB Live on Saturdays from 11 to 12. Today we are going to be bringing to you a little unusual topic. I think I could say that, and I'll just give you a little brief on this. Ali was invited for a talk through the TEDx platform. He has given a lot of talks at the TEDx platform, and one of them, which was there, was about change, right? And it was every story had to be through what do you say, a fable. Now, what is a fable? A fable is a story where you have animals as characters. So when you have these animals as character, there is a story which keeps going on, and then at the end of it there is a moral to your story. So there are different kinds of morals which keep coming up, and then you can even check with children, or you can even check this with people who are listening to the story. That what is the moral of the story? What are the messages that you get out of this? So one of the very important things which we all felt at Banjara was that to plan for change, right? Now let me just give you one example. I think one of the most popular examples which will go down history is the pandemic year, the 2020. Now what happened in this pandemic year was there was suddenly a lot of changes which happened. Schools got shut, you had to get your groceries on time, your medication was not happening on time. Suddenly you found that even this person who stays just two buildings away, you can't go and meet them. They are your elderly parents and things like that. Innumerable changes kept happening. You adapted to each and every one of them with so much of ease, right? Initially there was some kind of a little ruffle which happened. There was a little panic. You suddenly wonder, oh my god, he eats only bread every day, will I get bread? Oh, mama has only cornflakes every day in the morning, I hope I get cornflakes and my milk on time. Of course people also started little overreacting because they had all reasons to believe in that. And extra milk got stored, extra curds got stored. We started washing even sugar and onions and soap with soap. So Tide was getting washed with Surf Excel, and Surf Excel was getting washed with Tide. So all those things kept happening. Even though all these different things were happening, one thing that remained was that whatever are your values, your morals, the upbringing with which you have, come up to this stage in life, those did not get shaken up, right? And that's exactly what we mean by saying that we will be talking today about change. And one of the ways that Ali is going to bring this talk to you in a while just from now is adapting to change. And this is going to be through a very, very popular story of Hare and the Tortoise. You all have heard about it? Yeah? I'll give you a few seconds for you to recollect how the hare goes tuku tuku tuku, but then the tortoise goes still very slow, and then you find that the hare has already reached his final line. He's happily sitting over there, and then on the way he thinks, hey, where will this tortoise come? He goes off to sleep, and then this tortoise slowly nudges, pushes, prods, and then he reaches the line. So slow and steady wins the race was how the whole story went. What Ali is going to speak to you about is that while the basic values, while the basic habits that with which you are, grown, they remain there. Still, how can we not only anticipate change but also adapt to changes? How is it that we can collaborate and still move on to have a very fruitful, meaningful, and satisfying life, right? So, actually, speaking about changes, uh, um, you've all seen Jungle Book, right? Mowgli, right? Now, what happens to Mowgli? Did Mowgli go to a school? Anyone, did Mowgli go to any school? Some Vidya Niketan, some Shanti Niketan. Did Mowgli go? No, he did not go to any schools at all. But then, did Mowgli miss out on not going to schools? No, he did not. Because through that fable of Jungle Book, what we have learnt is that the bare necessities of life, of food, of water, of having a nice, happy, fresh, happy environment and fresh air around you is more than enough for a satisfying life, right? And Mowgli was a standing classic example for us to teach us that while he did move on and he did go on with so many changes in his life, but then he was grounded and he was rooted to whatever that he had learned in that jungle. And the Mowgli was never at a disadvantage of having missed out on school. He was never at a disadvantage that he lost out on school. In fact, I would say that what we have actually inherited from this earth, in a way, we are kind of spoiling it. We can try and give it back, because all that we need are the bare necessities of life. And as we coexist with each and every animal and with each and every being, I think a lesson for us to learn is that let us adapt quickly to changes, and let us ensure that we are coexisting with each one of them. Where in Alice in Wonderland, the walrus says that the time has come, the walrus said, to speak of many things, of sailing ships and sealing wax, of cabbage and kings. And once we move out of our ivory towers and accept that nature, flora, and fauna have more to teach us than man made textbooks. The real learning begins there. In fact, at Banjara, many times when we're just sitting, so many times we keep discussing about ants, about dogs, about cats, and how much that nature actually teaches us. So, today's topic is going to be that right now you will have Ali sharing with you his twist and turn of bare necessities and how change is inevitable, but we need to adapt to change. And of course, with just a 2 minutes break in between, we are coming up back with lots of questions that whatever that you would have, any clarifications that you will be seeking from this talk of ours, right? So happy talking, happy listening, and over to your nice fable, which is going to come up now. Thank you, girl. So since today is about adapting changes, so we have changed up the pattern a little bit. You're going to be seeing a wonderful TEDx talk from the university. Just a second, let me patch it up for you people. Hmm. All right. There you go. After the video, Ali will be joining us to tell you more about changes as well as to address all your questions. All right.
So Ali is going to be joining us in just a minute. I thought
Right.
quickly I'll tell you what we are doing here in Banjara these days. And this week we started with our life skills program, online program. So That is something we started today. We had the interactive session. So we are going to follow it up with a training module. If you want to become a life skills trainer or just want to work on your presentation skills, we are going to be, next month, in the month of April, we are planning to start our 12 session classroom program here in Banjara every Sunday, right? Also, next week, coming up on 18th of March, is a talk, HH Talk, Helping Hand Talk, which is a free and open to all talk. All of you are most welcome, whoever is in Bangalore. Please come and attend it from 10 to 11. And it is on a very interesting topic, when love is not reciprocated, right? So you're most welcome. Come by 9:45. You can sit here, enjoy a cup of tea with us from 10 to 11. Ali will be here in the classroom, and you can enjoy that talk. And so now over to Dr. Ali.
Yes, I'm back again. Why I showed you that TED talk was, in today's era, when there is this big conflict between the past and the future, and the change that is taking place. You've been hearing this words like the new normal and all these sort of things. I just wanted to emphasize that we can still use some of the basic attitudes, values, principles of the bygone era and build on them. And that is what the story of the hare and tortoise does. There's no doubt about it that slow and steady wins the race. But in today's world, when slow and steady may make you fall back, can you do something about it? And this example showed you how you can actually do things so wonderfully, not only for yourself, but even for your so called opponent or rival or whatever it is. Today's world has become so competitive. Everybody is trying to climb over each other's shoulders. And that's why I thought, let me quote to you a wonderful quote of the famous Isaac Newton. When people said that, how could you see so far ahead? How could you visualize things which nobody else was able to visualize? His answer was, I have seen further because I have stood on the shoulders of giants. He has taken the help of giants and gone up. He hasn't stamped them or pushed them down, and he has used them to look forward. Even Charles Darwin said, it is not the strongest of the species that survive, nor the most intelligent, but the ones most responsive to change. And then finally, let me quote Khalil Gibran. He said, progress lies not in enhancing what is. We keep getting stuck to what we are and trying to push it. Progress lies not in enhancing what is, but in advancing towards what will be. And that is one thing I want you to keep it, please, almost as a mantra, that you have to anticipate change, not just adapt to change. Okay. So I've seen a lot of amazing, awesome, good morning. TED Talk was awesome, good morning, etc. Now, can we have some comments, questions, agreements, disagreements that will help us to move forward? And that's the only way. Do brainstorming, have your own mind, think deeper. You don't have to go against people, but you can be for something of that sort. Thanks, Radha. She says, what an innovative way to teach adversity. This is something I think we all need to incorporate, and we all need to work on from time to time on a regular basis. See, lifespan is increasing, healthcare and all that is increasing. Your bodies are going to be very fit, fine, functional at 80, 90 years of age. But you have to take care of your mind. It is the mind that is going to be the most important thing. How much you take care of your mind, a lot will depend on that. This is what I thought, we should all the time take into account left, right, and center. I'm seeing people stuck in the past. This year, 2 lakh engineering seats went vacant, and every second parent that I come across wants their child only to become an engineer. In engineering also, there are 30, 40 branches of engineering, but every second person wants their child only to become a software engineer and nothing other than that. The world cannot survive without that. In fact, a simple thing I used to do, now it's all gone online. But once upon a time, if you were a shareholder of a company, every year they used to send you an annual report. Among various other things, they also used to have an attachment in that where they used to give the names and details of all their employees who are earning more than 3 lakhs a month or 36 lakhs in a year. So the top executives, so the shareholders should know that when you're paying high salaries to your top executives, how much are you paying them and what is their background? So their age, their qualification, their previous employment, their designation, and the salary that they are drawing. Take any of the software companies, not even 30-40% of those in that 36 lakh plus bracket would be software engineers. The rest of them would be finance people, HR people, admin people, marketing people, product development people, security people. All those go put together and make. No, that's what the principle of this little fable of the hare and the tortoise also teaches us. That if we put all our heads together and then we work, then you create a giant IT company and then all those type of things. So everybody has got their own strengths, and that is what we should be working on. So what are your core competencies, as you saw in the TED Talk? Right? Shik says, can I get the quotes of Isaac Newton, Charles Darwin, and one more person? Yes, all these three are there. Can you type it in and give it to them? I think it is worth reserving. Sureka says, in order to embrace change, we need to sharpen our power of choice. Yes. Decision making is one of the 10 life skills. In fact, just this morning, I was talking to the students who have enrolled for the life skills course and telling them the significance of being able to handle these things like decision making. How do we develop this faculty of making appropriate choices is in that particular, what do you say, lesson which comes along with life skills. How to motivate the mind to move forward if it refuses to move, Shirin is asking. Wow. Mind is belonging to you, please remember. If the mind cannot refuse to move, you are the master of the mind. Sometimes you just need to push. You just need to push further ahead. You need to be consistent. See, it is like that story of the big boulder which was refusing to move. When everybody put in their little efforts. Long back on TV, there was a very nice ad that a huge tree falls on the road. It's pouring rain and the tree has blocked the traffic. There's traffic on both sides and everybody is getting restless. Everybody is getting angry, saying, move it, what to do, why is this happening, where will we go? All these type of things are going on. There's a minister's car which comes, Lal Batti, and the cops are there and they are getting worried what to do. And policemen are very innovative. They've got very good creative thinking. So instead of getting manpower to remove the log, what they did was they asked for another vehicle to come from the other side of the road. And then they brought out an umbrella and escorted the minister over the fallen tree into the brand new car, and he drove off. Problem solved. Let the others hang around. While that was going on, the video shows one urchin who was hanging around there. He comes, looks at the tree. A tiny fellow, he looks at the tree and tries to start pushing it. People are literally laughing at him. People are sitting in their car looking at it, pointing to each other and saying, see, stupid fellow, he thinks he can push that log. While they are doing that, half a dozen other urchins turn up. And they all start trying to push. And you can see that it is moving 1 inch at a time. Then they show 1 or 2 wives nudging their husbands. What are you sitting in the car like this? And those poor children are doing. Then they get out and then they start pushing. And before you know it, All the people are there. They're just getting wet for a couple of minutes. They push the tree aside and the traffic starts moving. That is how we need to, whether it is Shirin or anybody else who feels that the mind is not moving, let it move 1 inch at a time. Don't expect miracles, but be consistent and keep pushing it all the time. Okay. Hema says, excellent talk. Will to survive and the adaptation to change so well explained. Thank you very much. The thought process of a 20-year-old and 60-year-old is always different. We call it as generation gap. How do we cope with this and how to adapt to changes? Generation gap is not from 20 to 60. Generation gap is between 15 and 20 also. That's the rate of change. A 15-year-old today looks at a 20-year-old and says, this fellow is over the edge. He is gone past, done with the things. And I can't blame him because he's learning so many new things which the 20-year-old has not been able to learn. So for a minute, what we can do is, see, take the onus. When you are the elder one, whether you are 40 or 60 or 25, whatever you are, if you want to connect to the younger generation and if you want to move ahead with the younger generation, you have to bring yourself down to their level. Don't expect them to come to your level. We are having this CCAD program also going on online. No, some of you may be registering. Participating in that. Monday, I'm just preparing. On Monday, I'm going to take this session on if a child cannot learn the way we teach, then we should teach the way the child can learn. Such a simple formula, but we can do it. Similarly, Navina has asked, how do you train yourself to anticipate the change? This comes out of, being always open to seeing things. Just the other day, I was mentioning on another forum how animals, start becoming aware if an earthquake or tsunami is coming. You can check anywhere, wherever a natural calamity has happened. Before it happens, few hours before that, you see animals getting very restless, stomping, wanting to get out, shouting, screaming. And the human beings are sitting there saying, what is happening? What stupid animals? Why are they behaving this way? Now, what those animals have done is they have developed what we call as the sixth sense. And sixth sense is not something supernatural or something of that sort. It is also based on a lot of instinct, which in turn is built up out of past experiences. So knowing that this can move to that, can that move to something else? When I tried that, I was stuck. So can I try different methods? The more you can question, do never be complacent about, that things are going fine. The best time, they say, to bring about a change is when things are going all right and there is no need for a change. You get into that habit and you can anticipate the change that is going to come in the future. Ideologies change from different age groups. How can we bring harmony? Ideology doesn't necessarily change. A lot of times the elders have this habit of looking at the younger people and pointing fingers at them. Let's say that you have a youngster at home, a girl who starts wearing very mod dresses, or according to you, dresses which are indecent or something of that sort. Do you think her ideology has changed? Do you think she's an immoral or a loose girl, as you call? No. That's what she feels today. Everybody wears that, so I'm wearing this. She doesn't even realize that there's something unusual about it, just because you are not used to that, you see. So when we want to bring about some harmony between the two generations, I want you to separate out those which are real principles, morals and all that, where there is no compromise. If you're stealing something which doesn't belong to you, I would say no compromise. There is no way I'm going to allow anyone to do that or approve of it or whatever it is. But if it is persuading somebody and somehow convincing him to part with his money or something of that sort, it may not be a very desirable way of doing it, but it is not immoral, or it is not infringing on ideologies and things of that sort. Radha says, due to cultural globalization, there are a lot of changes in the belief system between youngsters and the middle-aged. We middle-aged are not able to adapt to that change, which is posing a problem in interpersonal relationships. You gave your answer, Radha. We, the middle-aged, are not able to adapt. Now, when I cannot adapt, why should I blame the younger generation? Life is moving forward. The world belongs to the younger people, not to the older people. We are on our way out, and these are the people who are going to take over as the years go past. If I cannot adapt to it, I need to learn how to adapt, not trying to turn the clock back and pull the youngsters towards me. There are so many things that the younger generation can teach us, which we as elders have missed out on in our early years. It's never too late to learn from them. Shweta says adapting to change ourselves can be done, but how to make the loved ones understand this? Two things, Shweta. One is, of course, being a role model. Rather than telling this to the person, you start practicing this. When you are practicing, the next step would be to ask the person, I am doing this, or this is the method that I am doing. Do you approve of it? What do you feel about it? Do not try to sermonize. Do not try to push it down the throat of the other person. Just ask for the opinion. Possibly the other person may say, no, you're outdated. No, these things don't work. Keep it open and say, can we try it out? I will do it this way, you will do it that way. Can we exchange notes after a few days to see which works in the long run? And there comes one very important thing. We have to teach the younger generation delayed gratification. They're in a hurry to get everything. And the fault again lies with the older generation because we have made things easy for them. From the time we got instant, coffee, and we got 2-minute Maggi noodles, and we got Swiggy and Dunzo and all these things, the younger generation thinks that anything I can just, press a button on my phone and I'm going to get it. We have to teach them. We have to take them into nature. That's the best thing to do. The farmer puts in so much effort, but he has to wait for those 3 months or 4 months till the crop is ripe. One day before also, he cannot chop off that plant and get the fruit of it. He has to wait till it gets ripe, and then only he gets the fruit of all his days and weeks and months of efforts. This is how we need to sort of inculcate it on a two-way basis. A lot of it is actually happening. We can learn from each other and from innovative things which others are doing also. For example, I have come across a few companies. That's a good slide which Sunita has put down. The same old thinking gets you the same old results. And remember, old results which were useful earlier may not be useful in today's context. Right, in my childhood, I remember that if a car would go at 30 kilometers speed, it was supposed to be a good speed. If the car would, travel for about 10, 20 kilometers and break down and get overheated, you had to wait and put water in the radiator and wait for it to cool down and start again. These are all accepted things. These were the norms. But can people, accept that and make it a way of life? Yes, we have to understand that changes are coming in, expectations are going up. Only thing, as I keep reminding, is let not that expectations become unreasonable. Let not that expectations become selfish or something of that sort. And let those expectations not make us lose track of what is the past. I was just telling you that I'm coming across companies which have started a system of reverse mentoring. That means earlier, up till now, mentoring was always done by the elder and experienced executive to the younger and the fresh person. Today, the fresh person who comes in, the youngster who comes in, can teach a thing or two. There's a lovely movie called The Intern, Hollywood movie, in which a 70-year-old gentleman who retires from a very senior position applies when a company calls for interns. And he goes there and says, I'm retired, I'm free, and I'd like to be an intern and start learning. And it is amazing how they show the interaction between this intern and the people who are actually running the company, including the CEO and all these people. So this is just an example to show you how things are changing and how life is actually becoming better. If you have that attitude that yes, change is for the better, there's always something to learn, something new, something exciting and adventurous, then your attitude will always remain positive. Mary says, very true, we didn't make the children see poverty, struggling to find ways to achieve. We made achievements very easy. It is our mistake. I had a case of a mother who had brought a child saying that, when we started off and when our child was a baby, we only had a second hand scooter, and the little one used to stand in front of the father on the scooter, and he used to hold her balance by his arms, holding the two handles of the scooter, and that's our mode of transport. Few years later, we got an old second hand Maruti car, and we upgraded ourselves. Now what happened is my husband has been doing very well, and we have got a very good luxurious car, brand new car. So the husband said, okay, now I'll be going to office in this new car. I've appointed a driver who will take the kid in the old car to school. The child flatly refused. She said, I want to go only in the new car. And as expected, parents got very upset. They said, what is this? Look at her. How many children get the privilege of going to school in a chauffeur driven car? And here she is insisting on this and that. How dare she do this? And when I was a child, we didn't have a car, we didn't have a scooter. I used to walk so many kilometers to school. We didn't have money for bus fare, all those stories. I told you, when I was your age type of thing. When I spoke to this child, she said, Mama always gives me all these stories about how poor she was and how she had to walk 5 kilometers to school and she couldn't afford bus fare, all those things. I accept it. If today we were that poor, that my parents could not afford even bus fare and were asking me to walk to school, I would have done it. All I am saying is, Daddy has this luxurious car which I can show off to my friends. So why should I be denied? Now, whether you agree with the child or not is different. But there is some logic in it. Why have you done this and gone ahead with that without updating your child, without making your child understand the value of money or the value of luxuries or something of that sort? And the child takes it for granted that now that my family has this luxury car, I, as the one and only daughter of the family, have a right to do that. And again, she was a single child, so she felt that everything in the family belongs only to. Yes, Rohini has acknowledged that The Intern is a very good movie. There you are, the poster of that. And this gentleman on the left is that interesting man who has retired from a very senior position and decides to become an intern in another organization. Six also says, yeah, I've seen the movie. Prema says, it is my experience as well. Archana is my mentor and learning so much from her. 25 years back, I was her teacher when she was in second grade. I'm really liking wonderful, Prema, to acknowledge something like this. 25 years back, Archana was in second grade and Prema was her teacher. Today, Prema is doing the CCAD course and Archana is her mentor, equivalent to teacher. And Prema says, I'm learning so much from her. That's what it is, isn't it? And Prema can be very proud of this fact because she has obviously given a good foundation to Archana when she was in second standard. So much so that today Archana can be her mentor. I think it is something that all of us, if we achieve something like that, we can be very, very proud of. And that should be our attitude. I have another friend who retired as an air commodore in a very senior position of the Air Force and had joined a private company. And suddenly he realized that his boss is coming and saluting him. So he said, sir, you are my boss and why are you saluting me? That man turned around and said, sir, you have forgotten. 20 years back when you were a wing commander or, commanding so-and-so squadron and this and that, I was your sergeant. I came out of Air Force early, did my MBA and have gone up the ladder. So today I'm in this position. But I want to acknowledge that a lot that I've learned from you has helped me to come into this. And then he offered and said, I will take a transfer and go away because it will be uncomfortable for you to be working under a person who was your sergeant when you were a wing commander, etc. And my friend said, nothing doing. I would rather have you as my boss than any other civilian. So they have continued to work beautifully in the reverse roles of the much, much junior person now becoming the boss in another organization. right? So these are the type of things, these are the type of inspirations or whatever you want to call it. Please also remember, I keep reminding every now and then that the media, and more so the social media, can be a wonderful tool. It can also be a horrible master. It can drag you away from reality. It can, take you into things, and a lot of young people also incidentally are doing that. They're getting very carried away. Yesterday's newspaper and also a few days earlier, there have been advertisements which are disguised as articles to show how internet gaming is a skill based thing. It is not gambling, it is something which enhances your skills and this and that. In a subtle message, what they are trying to tell you is, please line up our pockets, because we are these guys who are spending millions and billions into gaming and this and that, and we are going to make money out of you. And they are trying to convince the youngsters that this is what it is. Drugs has been going on since a long time. You will find some, websites which look so authentic. International World Organization of Health Prevention and something something will have a very fancy name. And that website will tell these youngsters, if you take drugs, your memory improves. You'll be able to perform better in your exams. And these kids are turning to their parents. We're talking about generation gap now. They're saying, why are you preaching and why are you saying all these things? Look at it. International, global, so and so says that drugs are actually good for me. These are things which I want you to be very, very careful about. At a young age, if you are interacting with children, please make them understand the value of not being carried away by things which are not authorized and not authentic. And anybody can put up anything on the internet. That doesn't mean that it becomes true. And you know this is something which we have to work on a constant basis. There are a lot of things which are happening. Yes, this is another lovely slide which Sunita has put up. Change is natural, it's the only constant. And if you see the slide, you will also see that change is cyclical. Next time when you feel that you are facing the heat of summer and things are getting very bad, which is something which Bangaloreans always keep cribbing about. I tell them, go to any other city outside Bangalore and you'll see what hot and summer means anyway. But when they talk about things like these, no, they forget that the summer will end, the rains will come. By the time they're getting very irritated with the rains, every day it is raining, I can't go out, to get wet and the rains will stop and the winter will come in. Ah, winter's come, now it's so nice and pleasant. Then you start complaining, it's becoming so cold, particularly in the nights and this and that. When you start complaining about the winter, what happens? Summer comes back all over again. Life is a beautiful cycle. Nature continues to give us that cyclical thing. Every second child is learning coding today. What are your views on it? I don't want to antagonize the huge IT industry by saying what I said a few minutes back, that there is life outside the 6-inch screen of the smartphone or the 17-inch screen of your laptop. Do not restrict your life to that. That's all I can say. Learn coding, learn whatever. No learning can ever go waste. Anything that you're learning, I'm happy with it. But if you consider that as the ultimate, if you say only coding is going to help me through my life and I don't need to learn anything other than coding, then somewhere you are mistaken. You are losing out on some things which are much, much more important. And someday will come when things will go back. Hema has asked, can I use your pics to communicate? Certainly you can do that. We don't have any copyrights. We are also taking it from somewhere. You can check with Sunita if there are any copyrights or something of that sort. In anyway, you can do it. The idea is to spread the message, isn't it? We are doing it with very good intention. The idea is that more and more people should come to know whatever we know. There's also a very nice quote, if you remember, which says that the best way to really learn something is to teach it to somebody else. And this is not restricted to academics. If I learn any skill, if I learn an attitude, if I have some awakening on how things can be done differently. Sorry, and I want to imbibe it deep into me. The best way is to teach it to others. So when I start teaching to the others, one is that it becomes repetitive and I keep learning. The second is when I'm teaching it to the other person will question me. The other person will critically evaluate me. The person may have something to modify and tell me in a different context. As that goes on, my learning will continuously improve. All good teachers, I'm sure there are many watching today also, will agree with me that they have learned so much from their students in different ways. And that is why, one of the best ways to practice something, imbibe something, and to keep growing continuously is to keep teaching it to something. Yes, Paul Holmes, the best way to learn is to do. The worst way to teach is to talk. So I will take the hint from Paul Holmes that I have been doing a lot of talking. We are nearing 12 o'clock. Farida says, I was in a monotonous life until cancer happened. I was forced to change, and life is so much better than that. Hats off to people like Farida who say that a calamity, a disease, something which people get so scared of. And she says, life is so much better after that. That is the best way to learn about life, from hurdles, from challenges, from failures. They teach us much more than the happy incidents in our life. I can assure you of that. Continue to grow, continue to learn, continue to evolve, continue to change the fables of the hare and the tortoise, adapt, bring about new things. It is definitely possible. Be part of us, as Seema has just now uh, put in. Come over next Thursday if you are in Bangalore, and if you have some free time, continue to be associated in whatever way. Teach us a lot of things which we don't know. We are more than open to learning from anywhere and um, everywhere. So please,
Sorry, Ali. That was
yes.
Benjamin Hitchcock.
Okay, okay, okay. It doesn't really matter who said it, as long as we think, reflect, and imbibe, question, and keep improving on it. So have a lovely weekend. See you again next Saturday. Bye bye.
Thank you very much, everyone, for joining us. So I hope you enjoyed the slides. So I'm going to rerun the slides again for those who wanted to make note of all the authors and the quotes and and all the pictures. Okay. So have a lovely rest of the Saturday and a wonderful weekend ahead. See you next time. Same time next week, 11 a.m. Saturday.